In a second what I mean by that. So here we are, strategic project management, of course, yeah, and it's our last session on entrepreneurial strategy. Now it's a little bit different to what we consider under the linear strategy, but I want to explain a little bit theory behind it and a few practice examples. And I have as well a case study for you that if we are just 4 people, we may as well do it in the lecture, and then you have a... Did you have anything after strategic project management?
Economics.
Afterwards?
Yes.
After the seminar?
No, before, no.
No, so you have like David Beanie, and then...
Yes.
Okay. Then we can do it as well, probably all in the 2 hours, and then you can have 2 hours earlier finish. But revise it, because this is cool stuff. Yeah, I can strongly recommend it. Now, okay, we start by entrepreneurship strategy, theory, and practice. Again, linking it to our model. Do you remember? Yeah, so I will explain it a little bit about that. And then personal aspects and risk-taking. Because entrepreneurship is as well about leadership, yeah. So you as a project manager may be taking incentive. So there's the experiential learning cycle. We look at that as a model. I hope, no, I'm pretty sure actually, that you will look in a lot more detail at that in sustainable project management at learning cycles. Then we look at effectual reasoning, what that is and why that is such a powerful thing, and you're probably doing it already. Yeah? So this is often something that we do subconsciously already without realizing that this is actually a very powerful strategy to be used as well consciously. And then the 4 drivers of entrepreneurial strategy. I give you as well the Dolblin. I talk about it. It's different types of innovation. They look at where we actually innovate. So, and then last but not least, I have as well a case study of CSC. It's like one of the larger ones, a multinational corporation that basically tries to be innovation leader, and we'll look at the types. And then, of course, we look at competitive advantage and ownership, implementing strategic opportunity as well, and have a wonderful case study to make sense of that. Okay, what is entrepreneurship strategy? For this, actually, before we come to that, maybe ignore the screen. What is entrepreneurialism for you, or what is an entrepreneur for you?
It's someone having foresight and
okay.
I suppose courage to go out, innovation, and courage to go out and do something themselves to achieve something.
Yeah. So it's a foresight, and you said innovation to go out and do something, yeah?
They have a desire to succeed with something that they've come together. The thoughts have come together in their head, and they're determined that it's going to succeed. And sometimes they have to get backing for it. Sometimes they back themselves.
Okay, so there's already a process involved.
Somebody's a real risk taker, aren't they? They're not
and risk take. Okay, yeah. So there are quite a few elements. Actually, we will probably have the definition fully there. Well, what is entrepreneur for you? Where would you put an entrepreneur?
Somebody is looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
And is able to identify.
Mm. So they kind of take an opportunity that they see forward. They probably want to proactively change what is actually going on at the moment, and come with their solution or with their product, service, or sometimes as well perspective into a market to actually change it. Most of the time to improve it. That is probably
want to make an impact as well, an impact on people and communities or consumers.
Do they sometimes create their own markets as well that don't already exist?
Yes, you're spot on. Yeah, so they can create as well their own markets. Who are entrepreneurs that you know?
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson.
He's top of the list.
Okay, good. He is, of course, he has a very smart game. He's as well an investor. So he kind of listens to a lot of passionate entrepreneurs and probably takes the best ones forward himself. Yeah? So this is quite interesting. But Richard Branson traditionally was an entrepreneur. What did he become famous with?
It was Virgin Record Stores.
Yeah.
The Virgin
Record Stores.
Record stores. Okay, very good. Other entrepreneurs? Anybody that you know?
Alan Sugar.
Alan Sugar. Oh, I didn't realize. So what was he famous for?
I'm sure. Commodore computers.
Commodore computers. Yeah. Okay. Very good. I checked that, by the way, at face value. I
Now
don't
he's
really.
billionaire or whatever he is. I don't know what he is exactly, but he's. I don't know.
Oh, so you associate entrepreneurialism as well with wealth, yeah? So it makes you as well wealthy if you're an entrepreneur.
If you're an effective one.
Well, he started off with computers, but he's gone totally. He's up for anything now. He's the guy who runs The Apprentice. You know, the show The Apprentice. I know you don't watch TV, but it's all about entrepreneurs, and he wants to bring forward people's ideas.
Apprentice is actually Apprentice for Entrepreneurship, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to say, apprentice is actually the opposite of an
No,
entrepreneur.
it's
It's
called
following
The
somebody.
Apprentice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So and he promotes as well entrepreneurialism.
Yeah.
In that sense. Yeah. Okay. Other entrepreneurs? Do you know anybody? So this was both UK, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Yeah. They're both very.
Apple.
Yeah. Who's that?
When they first started, was it Steve Jobs? And it was another man as well, wasn't it? And also Bill Gates was
Bill
involved
Gates
with
was.
Apple.
Yeah.
And then he
very
kind
good,
of jumped ship, didn't he? And then started Windows.
Yes. Yeah. You're spot on.
But he's
yeah.
a nice entrepreneur.
Nice.
Bill Gates, isn't
Oh,
he?
so they're
He-
nice
charitable.
and.
Very simple lifestyle as well.
Charitable,
Yeah.
So they are nice entrepreneurs and not so nice, or
Well, some of them do it for the money, and some of them, I think, just
Are
do it because that's
genuinely
their
passionate,
nature
yeah,
to
passionate.
explore new horizons.
They don't necessarily have to be famous. I mean, my old boss when I was at university, he was self-employed and he made he's got it as a garage for cars, but he worked for a company and he decided he didn't want to work for anyone. So he went self-employed and became an entrepreneur, and he's makes money and he's.
Okay, so this is an important point. Everybody can become an entrepreneur. You don't have to have first the billion investment, and you don't have to have mean or nice ideas either. Yeah. So, did you have another entrepreneur that is really famous, maybe?
I know a lot of them in India, because especially from Bangalore, where I come from. Because you basically have the ecosystem.
Yeah.
A lot of venture capitalists around, and also software. So you have a lot of people actually starting off their own companies there.
So looking for opportunities, in their networks, and then starting off,
Especially e-commerce.
Yeah. Commerce.
E-commerce.
E-commerce, yeah, very, very good. Yeah. Okay, so there are different fields as well where we have entrepreneurialism, or that are supportive of it. Actually, in the Northeast, how is England doing in entrepreneurialism? Do we have a lot of companies? Do we have a lot of entrepreneurs?
Probably a lot of
Yes.
small owners of businesses, small like shops or something like that. Probably quite a few in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Because we've lost a lot of industry.
Yeah, they're on the down though
Yeah.
now, aren't they, with the
I have a friend who works with government agency advising people to take up small business ideas and things. And he there was a lot, he's now works a couple of days a week because there just isn't the funding for it. And they used to offer grants and things, and all of that's been reduced as well. So in time of economic downturn, they're the sort of things that unfortunately suffer.
So this is a question. Should entrepreneurs be even supported by government structures? And if you think of the famous ones that we all had, Apple, Google, or as well, I would as well assume Virgin, I'm not so sure, but particular, what was Alan Sugar's again? It was a computer, right?
Oh, he was just a barrow boy and he worked his way up, and he started off the Commodore computer.
Commodore computer,
Yeah.
100% sure that was funded by the government too.
Oh,
So
okay.
I would just guess by this industry as well, Google always fully funded by the government. So there were schemes for entrepreneurs, but we have as well a lot of entrepreneurs in India. E-commerce, I'm not sure. I would assume that it's probably a very strategic goal of India, supporting those kind of industries. But I would assume a lot probably started from scratch. So they do it from their own resources, with their own willpower, probably have a network where they see that opportunity arising.
The last few years have seen a big boom actually.
Yeah.
A lot of competition in the e-commerce sector especially. Because I think people are people have built up this confidence that they can pay online.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the main reasons why it's happening.
Yeah, it's very powerful. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Okay, so we have a few examples. When we look actually at the more, now this is theory related, the definition, so entrepreneurship is possibly a little bit more, but here in this sense I want to define it as a way of thinking and acting that focuses on the identification and exploitation of business opportunities from a broad general perspective driven by the leadership of individuals or small groups. And this is a very American definition. So when it comes to exploitation, it's more kind of following the ideas through and making it feasible. That doesn't mean that you have to become a billionaire. Yeah, smart entrepreneurs have pointed out if you become a billionaire and the richest man of the world, then you haven't shared that much, have you? So you know there's an accumulation argument in there. Yeah. So this was already socially challenged, yeah, from you guys here. So quite an interesting one. Then entrepreneurship strategy is the next step, if you want. It's the identification of an entrepreneurial business opportunity, so very much the definition that you gave us, and the plans and action to develop and exploit that opportunity. And again, this is in the line of the business strategy that we discussed as well before. Now, traditionally, this has been associated with 3 theoretic streams. So particular emergence of entrepreneurial opportunities. So creative destruction theory, innovative opportunities arise through competition and technology destroying previous market offerings. So you look at something and you think this is a terrible way of doing it. There are so many better ways of doing it. Yeah, and you make it happen with your product or service. And so this is the idea basically. Yeah?
There's a lot of it engineering, isn't it?
Yeah, so what are you thinking of here?
A friend, actually, her father made something to do with a valve.
With valves?
Something like
yeah.
It was for, I'm sure it was for the oil industry or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he created that, and now he's just loaded.
Well,
There's no looking back.
Okay, my entrepreneurialism and like fair equal share. So okay, a lot of people get wealthy if the idea works. Yeah. So so creative destruction theory, good example. Yeah. So you could, for example, look at the existing pipe systems, the ones we are using. They haven't really changed. They are standardized. Yeah. And if you have new ideas and you prove that they are better and maybe even cheaper, and you pitch it off to the industry, it's normally successful. Yeah. So there's a lot of potential there.
Well, Lord Armstrong was a prime example of that.
Lord Armstrong, yeah?
Yeah, because I mean, his house was the first house to have hydropower electricity in the house and things like that, so it was very innovative.
Yeah.
Obviously that's
And he worked with his colleagues, Mr. Edison, to get the first light bulb in his home as well.
And he made a lot of his money from the First and Second World Wars, producing munitions and things like that.
Yeah. Well, this is where his wealth came from. Certainly, the ammunition business that was thriving at the time due to the wars, of course.
Yeah.
But more famously for the energy generation. So this was a time when electricity became a hot topic. There were already ideas, and it was a party trick to electrify or magnetize stuff. Yeah? And at the same time, Edison was the other name as well. But do you know where Edison is from?
Sunderland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So both are local, hence Industrial Revolution has here as well its hub. And they were of course playing with the idea of revolutionizing how we would bring light and energy to the houses. Yeah. So quite substantial. Do you know how it was done before? And still it's done in a lot of old cities.
Oil lamps and things, isn't it?
Oil, yeah. That was another entrepreneur that came up with oil and gave the lamps away for free, and then had the monopoly on the oil. So you can see this is business schemes. But what did we use before for street lamps?
Was it gas?
Gas, yeah. So we had a gas tap, and we would just let it run. And if a lamp would go out, yeah, this would be always exciting, because then you could wait till the gas was volume-wise enough cornered, and then you would enlighten it as well. You know, it's all about the mixture with the air and everything. So there was a lot of explosive stuff, and then beautiful story as well. What was it? Stanley Morgan. I mix them up. So either Stanley Morgan, or could have been as well his brother, but he supported as well the whole electricity idea, and he wanted his first to have the first villa fully lighted by electricity. But at the same time, they wanted the heating to be gas. So they built this new house, and then it was presented to him, and they put it on because it was in the winter, so it was nice and warm. And then they were like having a show to walk in and like show how wonderful the electricity worked. So they switched it on, and the whole house exploded because the gas had filled up in the house. There was a leak. And electricity and gas is basically when we built, that's something else. Okay, wonderful examples. Yeah? But and then he built another house, and that was fully electricity. Should be said. So as an entrepreneur, as well, that iterative notion of your ideas, you have to be committed. Otherwise, it can be short-lived. Yeah. Okay, then we have the discovery theory. New opportunities already exist in the marketplace and await discovery by entrepreneurs. So it's a little bit the e-commerce. Yeah. Why is that not bigger? Yeah. You wonder. Yeah. And in particular, this fascinated me in the Northeast. We are particularly averse to it. If I speak to my entrepreneurs here in the region, I run around with Chamber of Commerce and I ask like, hey, what do you think about project management? How would you fancy to go like e-commerce, fully enabled? And they're like, yeah, I don't know, it looks kind of complicated. And there are no fans of it. They prefer the old handshake, the deal that they sign, and where they have somebody that they can talk to. So it's fascinating. Yeah? There's opportunities already there, but it's not yet being implemented. And if you go further, as I mentioned earlier, I think I brought a few of you, actually just two of you, last week with the idea of where we can go with the digital revolution, with the Internet of Things, and collaborative technologies. This is still there to be actually brought into our industry. It's enhancing it. Now the guys that are doing us, they tell us already, like it's up to 70% savings in the whole project. It's crazy. Why are we not doing this?
With the discovery theory, don't you think the difference being is more likely to be someone of wealth who can opt for that, mainly because someone who isn't wealthy but can see the opportunity might have trouble buying into getting people with money to buy into it. The grant system and that sort of thing. So do you not think the discovery theory?
So you're concerned about the resources that you need to start it up.
Yeah.
Now we come to that actually in a second when we look at the series. But discovery theories traditionally, so there is a power thing. Now, if you discover something and you want to establish it as a market, if you cannot patent it or you cannot find a way to protect yourself against somebody stealing it, you're very vulnerable. And you have associated that with previous wealth. You're right, if you have money and you copyright it, or we come actually to that at the end, patent it, then of course you have a different leverage. But traditionally we have a lot of examples where discoveries were kind of made. Particular universities are famous for this, or as well entrepreneurs or kind of workshops. The Makers Fair here in Newcastle, for example, is a typical engine that produces a lot of discoveries that are already there that can be integrated. So one typical example, if we go with Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they invented the mouse for Apple. So there was already the touch interface. It's an old hat. This is a thing from the 60s, 70s. Actually, even before this, there was already touching interface. And then they realized that it's a lot easier than typing if you can just use the cursor and click on things that are already there. It creates a different interface. So the technologies were all there. Does that make sense? Other discoveries
the mouse came after the finger pad thing. The mouse came after that.
Yeah, so the touch interface was the same. It was just a ball basically in the touch
interface. I would have
interface.
thought it was the other way around. The mouse was first and then it became the touch interface.
Well, okay, this is slightly technical.
Okay,
We don't really need the. I mean, if you're really interested in that, you can download it from the MIT MATLAB. No, wait a minute, I mixed stuff up. I think it's the Inventor Lab from MIT. So you can basically use any kind of old phone with a camera, the old cameras of the Nokia, and you need as well, this is a little bit more complicated to come by, but an old computer hard disk, and they have a program you can download and then interlink the camera to basically this little hardboard, and then with this you can build your own like kind of smart screening device. So you can basically tape your fingers with color coding, and then you can just write in the air. So if you're interested in this, the technology is long there. You know, this has been discovered for a long time, but we are not yet applying it. There's no business model because it's so easy to do. Well, if you know how to do that, well, you don't need the programming, you just download it and do it. But if you look at that, we are actually well ahead. It's not yet in the, so the inventions are there. Yeah, the creativity has already created the ideas, but we are not yet exploiting them. So this is where the entrepreneur comes in. Yeah. Did you have other discoveries that you're aware of that fascinated you? I should probably not start with the creepy ones. I've learned that I am fascinated with some where people are just like, oh my gosh, where is this? We have to stop that. That shouldn't happen. Yeah, it's.
Well, maybe that's because you've got that sort of mind anyway. You're looking for that sort of thing. I'm kind of like catching up, if you know what I mean.
No, but okay. So here's a creepy example. So be prepared. This may be creepy. So this is an old hat actually. So in Stanford, Princeton, and Yale, they played around with neuroscience to link robotic limbs for soldiers, you know, that lost an arm or leg, basically to the robotic leg, so that they could use it again. Now the experiments went different ways with it, but quite some time ago, Stanford, together with Newcastle University, our life center, like experimented around with monkeys, and there was no dangerous thing here happening to the monkeys. So it was basically that they put them a cape on, yeah, with neurotransmitters, and then they put a robotic arm around their neck. So they had like their natural 2 arms and a 3rd arm, and basically they basically wondered what is this arm for, and they asked them to do games. So monkeys like game. So particularly if you have grapes, you are in for a game. Yeah? The monkeys want to play straight away. Yeah, so what they did is they asked the monkey to pick it up. So the monkey picked it up, and then whilst he did this, he realized that actually the robotic arm is moving too, because it was linked to the same part that you use basically to move your right arm. So the monkey would like move it and realize a robotic arm is moving, but still use his natural arm. Now on the 2nd day, and playing around with it basically the whole day in between, he would do the same movement, but not use his own hand, but use a robotic hand and feed himself with it. Now on the 3rd day, he had actually stopped using his natural arms and just used the robotic hand because it was easier, not so much effort. On the 4th day, the monkey could do with the robotic arm stuff that he couldn't do with his normal arms.
Wow.
So this is cool stuff, right?
Really cool.
Yes, but it's slightly creepy too. So I learned that don't tell this in a pub if people are not prepared. Yeah? People get quiet and start listening and like, what are you doing exactly? Yeah, so yeah.
They're so clever though, aren't they? They're quite clever. Monkeys.
Yeah, but
I love
our
monkey.
okay, we're getting off topic here. This is not a promotion for monkeys.
You know, you said that it could do more with the robotic arm than it could with its own hands. Is that because its own hands are physically limited?
Yeah. So you have motoric limits. Yeah. So dexterity
really the
comes
brain is
in.
good enough. It's just that physical.
Yeah.
Being
Our body
isn't-
has limits.
Yeah. We've got more joints and what have you.
Yeah.
And we can.
But you
develop
made
from
already the right
separate-
link. So basically, our brain is kind of hardwired to connect to bodies and sensoric, which is very impressive, but slightly creepy at the same time. Yeah. So there as well ethical and moral dilemmas. Yeah. Did you want to generate like so the ethical dilemmas that come with it was beautifully discussed actually at the Life Center. So when you start discovering and reinventing the body, you know, you lose a limb. Of course, you want to replace the limb so that the person has again the full experience of you know living. But what is now if that replaced limb is cooler than the real thing?
Mm-hmm.
That was the implication as well with the monkey. So what is if the children see him like, I wish I would have legs like that.
Yeah.
Chop the legs off.
Yeah. So this is the implication.
Have you ever heard of
So
the
this
$1
is-
Million Man?
It was a
Steve
Steve
Austin.
Steve,
Man,
it was a-
bury alive.
yeah, it was
You
a
can
program.
rebuild him. And he
Some of Robocop?
he was a superhero because he had strengths that normal people didn't have once he'd been rebuilt.
Yeah, so that is where the issue comes in. So there's an ethical dilemma there. Yeah, but okay. So discoveries. Yeah, so we have them already for quite some time. Oh, by the way, this is old. This is 2003. Yeah, the monkey with the arm. Actually, the initial thing with the monkey and arm is like from the 80s, but there was something else. That was not so clean.
Did they not chop the head off?
No.
There was some, I did see a study about something about replacing heads
The
on
Russians,
bodies.
the Russians did that.
Yeah,
Just before and just after the Second World War, they were taking brains out of monkeys and doing head transplants. And they were actually sewing the heads and everything back on and waking them back up, and they were feeding these monkeys. Obviously, they couldn't move the body because the brain spinal cord, the brain stem had been cut, but they were actually awake and they were moving their eyes and things like that. They were
Well,
experimenting.
that's not nice.
No.
But I guess you don't get other things unless you.
Okay, so discovery theory. Yeah. Yeah, but did you have other examples, maybe discoveries that you have seen like kind of emerge that were around that you're aware of?
Going along the lines of
Not
like
so much the monkey. Yeah.
no, losing limbs and that kind of stuff. A lot of research nowadays is done into sort of like spinal injury problems, and they just like things like that, like new technologies, like nerve transmission, that kind of thing, something to like bridge the gap in between nerves. Like they've realised that graphene can help them grow, and things like that. It's just kind of experiments, sort of discovering what's already there, but using it in a new way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good example. Other ones? So this is like new or tools and techniques that we already have used in other fields, applying them in a new field and checking out how valid or how much benefits and value this can create. Yeah.
There's loads in construction.
Yeah, construction. What is the example?
God, that's lavish. You know, so LED in everything for low emissions and reduced energy costs, etc.
So what? Wait, explain. So LED.
Oh no, I'm a builder. I don't know anything about LEDs.
Like
I just know we use them all the time. They're in everything.
So what happens with that? What's the benefit of LED?
Reduced power required to actually for them. I think it just needs just a very limited amount of energy to set the thing away, and it stays on.
In theory, it never burns out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it does though, because they always say it only lasts so long. But it's great for maintenance issues and things like that. But it's not always compatible with other systems, so there's still a lot to be done to make it compatible. It's not very good working alongside. A lot of fire alarm systems don't like LEDs, for obvious reasons. So they're good, and we always try and promote them for energy consumption reasons, reducing them.
So this is in the house for lighting, or?
Wait, a lot of them in the house, yeah, as well. But I mean, you see them buy them in IKEA now, strips of LED to put under your units rather than have a fluorescent tube sort of thing. That's all.
I mean, there was some sort of stuff like the sciences, they're using tritium to illuminate watches. I mean, I've got in my watch, for like in dark, use the tritium gas to illuminate watches. I mean, they did use that on fire escape exit signs originally. So if all the lights went out or in smoke, it was a constant source of illumination that didn't need any light to charge it. So things like that as well.
Okay, a few applied ones. Other ones?
The pharmaceutical industry, where they're required to come up with new products, isn't it? R&D is so much a part of what they need to do.
Absolutely, yeah. So as a whole industry, they're innovating a lot, yeah. Yeah, okay. Discoveries. Well, I would say a few that I was shocked about or disappointed. I named it already last week. Kind of when I was in I went down to London, hearing about different industry. I mean, construction apparently is to monitor temperature in concrete. So they kind of set sensors in the whole building. This is old stuff. So any kind of research institute that works with materials does that already since the 50s, 60s. But it's now as well done by entrepreneurs. and they have a new standard that they're trying to push through in the UK to make that actually the legitimate way of testing if the concrete has the right strength. And if they get through with it, it's a lot cheaper, and they will probably replace.
So no more cube tests?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was my apprenticeship, making cubes.
Oh, yeah, tell me. That's right. My civil engineering degree, something like 200 cubes, yeah, and then one joker. I don't know who that was. Put like what do you call a steel beam, basically into the cube that was exactly the right height. So you had like a 2 millimeters like cement on top, and on the bottom, and concrete in the middle, so you couldn't tell. And we put it under the machine, and the guy was like, "Wow, this is amazing concrete." I know, and the machine basically broke. Yeah, but in reality, what happened? The cement like had cracked away, and it was just pressing basically the steel.
When I did my course here, construction course, many years ago, we actually made cubes and did slump tests and everything in the material science part of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's an important part actually.
Yeah.
It's
vital, really. Isn't it?
Durability from the buildings, exactly. Yeah. And particularly in the light of recent events. Yeah, but so this was around like for over 50 years. Now it comes into industry and replaces practice. And the cube making was a lot of stuff. If you were doing like 9 cubic meters, then 0.5 cubic meters were cubes. You know? So you would produce, if you think about it, wait a minute, how much is this? It's 17, 18, so yeah, well, 1/18, yeah, would go always into production for testing. So you wouldn't actually use it in the building. This would just be for testing the material. And this can be
but that
avoided.
kind of work on site was superseded a lot by places like companies like Tilcon, who would provide the concrete, but then also take samples and test it for you and feedback. So
they would certify it.
Bit,
And sometimes there was this very odd feeling because the concrete industry was very close. So there was always this dubious feeling if they were doing. But with the sensors, you can see it live. You can sense it too. Yeah, if you have like a kind of a reader for the sensors. Yeah, and so that would be an easy example. Other ones, mobile phone. Yeah, to combine camera with mobile phone, like being brave enough to combine the phone as a multifunctional device. Yeah, so calling a mobile makes a lot of sense, not a cell. That doesn't make so much sense. Yeah, just to play the American notion of the mobile. Yeah? But what do you use it mostly for? We talked about this as well in the seminar. Mobile.
Speaking to people, communicating.
Really?
Internet.
I do.
Internet?
I have this thing about using the internet on your phone, and I try not to do it very much because
I use it all the time.
I know it's really handy. But I try not to do it because I don't like to be that person standing there that can't deal with not having their phone out, because everyone seems to.
Yeah.
Like say when people are by themselves. Nowadays, just automatically reach for the phone. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not being one of those people.
Okay, so you're fighting it, yeah? But it's a conscious effort, which is impressive.
Yeah. When you don't have a lot of time, though, it's really handy.
It's really handy.
Yeah. I have as well, actually, as a lecturer, you notice the students will Google whilst you like present the facts. No, let's have a look if this is actually accurate. Excuse me, you should refine this. This is not true. This, which is good. I like it. It's a very informed conversation then. But
they're good now because you can get apps for sort of like mechanical specs and stuff like which I use for mine at work. In the engineering industry, you get like this calculation needs or material calc or anything like that. You can Google. Well, you can have a look on this app. And you can sort of like material specs and whatever it is, and you can get all that information.
Yeah.
So it's ready on hand.
Yeah, this is already the dream. Well, again, you will have it probably in 1 year. Yeah, but collaborative technologies, mobiles, have been enabled now to give you the information that you actually need in the location. But if you look at the common use, mostly camera for some reason. Yeah, camera, photos, and short movies. And then kind of finding out geography, so a location where you need to go. Then you have internet, Googling like relevant. Yeah, satnav is another one. Yeah, what was? So there's a long list of priorities before you come actually to phoning or messaging or conversation, which is quite interesting. But I like your commitment to going against.
I do go on the internet, but
Yeah, and replace the old good phone line. Yeah, I don't know if you have been there. When I was in primary school, I remember that I would make arrangements with my friends. Okay, so 3 o'clock I will phone you. Yeah, be at your phone. And then like it would be the mother. Oh yeah, can I please speak to Martin? Yes. Yeah, that's important. Yeah. And then Martin would come. Yeah. Sorry. I was like playing with my car. I got carried away. Sorry. I should have been there. Or awkward conversation always is that. And then what was actually not awkward? But yeah. So discovery theory. Yeah. Then we had the creative theory. I forgot discovery theory. What do we use mobiles for? To talk from distant places, right? So this is idea. Okay. Yeah. So. Okay. Creative theory. This is new opportunities can be developed by entrepreneurs and creating new market demands or new markets possibly as well. So, did you have anything like that? Suppose mobile could fall into that too. Actually, we have a lot of new technology, right? We have as well drones where, no, this is more discovery theory. Okay.
Those are dreadful, aren't they? The dreadful things.
Oh, why?
There's just no privacy anymore for anybody.
What? Not all drones. You don't have to put a camera on your drone. Yeah, you can use as well.
Why don't you just have a little mini helicopter? Because that's all they are, really, if you don't have a camera on it. They're very invasive to people. I think it's really sad.
Okay.
It's a bit like the internet, isn't it? Really,
Can the discovery theory and creative theory be very closely related? Because there's
I mean, all three, to be fair, have one aspect or the other. I was more thinking about kind of dominant pictures. Creative theory, what was
more
really...
like fashion, like trends?
Yeah, I mean, creative is really the idea you come up with something new.
So like iPod. Like an iPod, when they first brought out the new iPods.
Yeah, so this is contested. In Russia, there was already an MP3 player for a very long time.
Doesn't count.
Okay. I like your story.
In some respects, it goes back to what you were saying about the monkey, because although they've discovered a new technique, but it's still created a purpose for what it is.
Yeah.
So, and it's a bit like a lot of medical science has come from, unfortunately, it's come from wars.
Yeah.
You know, they've developed a lot of techniques through battles and things like that, which have helped save lives.
So creative, could that be like electric cars? Or would that be...
So creative is you kind of have a problem and you kind of develop your own solution to it. Yeah, or you really think about something that you want to do.
Demand, though, have they really?
No, because they look all disgusting.
Yeah, and they're too expensive.
Apart from the Tesla.
Wait, I didn't hear that.
Because that's
electric cars.
That's talking about creating new market demand.
Have you seen the Nissan Leaf? That's awful. If people
like
the
micro,
i8, the new i8, that's amazing. But BMW, but that's so expensive. No one could really afford it. But if you take into like the Nissan Leaf, which is affordable for most people, it's not an expensive car. But if they made it look nicer, more people would probably buy it.
How much is it?
It's about 25 grand.
Yeah, I was going to say they're expensive, they're not cheap, they're not affordable. I don't think that. So in my opinion, that hasn't created a new market demand because they haven't got them at the right price for people. If reduced the costs, the demand will be there.
Hybrids.
Well, the creative theory would probably fall down here. So creative theory, the electric engine was invented kind of quite some time ago. So when that happened, you would say this was probably creative. And they tried to kind of figure out how to do it. Yeah, or the diesel engine. Yeah, so those would be then the creative part because you make something new. Yeah.
But you still got to produce electricity. To me, it needs to be a solar-powered car. Or something.
We have that as well already for quite some time. Actually, there are a lot of university challenges where we race different vehicles with different
kind of. And then the sun goes away and
you don't have to have sun though to have solar power though.
It's a radiation.
I think people only go for electric cars so they can get free parking spots.
More than anything. I think you can still get governments off the grants for them as well towards them.
Can you?
Yeah, you get subsidised.
Charges in your garages and stuff.
Well, tax and everything, yeah.
Oh, right.
Okay, let's have a little bit of look at this so that we can actually
Never gonna get
our head around the differences. Yeah, but thank you for sharing the examples, and keep those in mind if they actually stick up to it. So the model for entrepreneurial strategy process, at least in literature, actually I'm writing at the moment with a colleague a paper about it, and I kind of have written all the entrepreneurial stuff, so this should be really updated. So if you want to see refined stuff, it's at the Academy of Management, EURAM. So it will be published this summer. Actually, I just circulated, I uploaded on the IP. So, but have a read, there are more refined models, but this is a textbook example. So here you have analysis of the environment and resources, especially those that contribute to your business opportunity. Yeah. So you, for example, e-commerce was a wonderful one. You notice that there may be already specialisms on particular aspects, but there are pockets, where you could run your opportunity. Then you have the business opportunity that is identified. Yeah? So this differs from prescriptive strategy in that there are no real options, typically just a single opportunity. I hope that makes sense. Yeah? Then you recruit the team plus the external resources to exploit the opportunity. This may mean you need funding, or this may mean you need to talk to your client, what they really want. So you have this opportunity. Do they fancy it? Then set up a business and launch the product or service. And the fifth one is an important one. It's a feedback mechanism. And as you pointed as well out, it's important to stick to it. Yeah? There may be an iterative process to make it work. So a feedback mechanism to assess prospects and develop the opportunity further. Maybe even adapt it to different areas. Yeah? So here is again our model, and you see it's a combination a little bit of the emergent together with the linear one. So you have the environment uncertainties and growth of opportunities, prior knowledge or education. Be careful, this can be as well just insight from experience. You notice something is missing in the past, this has kind of worked because people have carried it through, but nobody did it properly. That may be the understanding that you have there. Then past dependent prior experience, there it is. And then experimenting with possible ideas. And that is where the identifying of the opportunity comes from. And then you have internal resources. Here you have maybe your leadership, wanting to make it happen. Just do it, as Nike always says. So leadership and your team. So the people that you need to work with to make it actually happen. Then external resources, maybe capital and expertise. This is extremely simplified. So you could probably, in our project theorem, we always work with the 4 M's. You remember from the American theorem? What were they? 4 M's. Doesn't have to be. In the English definition, it's a little bit more sophisticated. It's 5. You could go with E. What is? I know this will just confuse. We go with the 4 M's. So what is it? Man, women, machines, money, materials. This is a reminder. The English one is a little bit equity. What is equity?
It's financial.
So capital or a promise of somebody that they give you a credit, which comes back to money, and then people, and you have equipment, machines. So they've separated this. Then aggregates, whatever aggregates is. Okay, but similarly. So with this you come to business developed to serve the opportunity, and this needs as well time. So this is as well a process if you want. And then enter the marketplaces and begin learning and adoption of the process. What does adoption mean? This is a term I didn't realize that, but in German we use that a lot. But do you use that in a day-to-day language?
Adaptation.
Yeah. Well, what does it mean?
When you change something to suit. Adaptation. If you plan something and it doesn't quite work, you modify it to make it work. Is it?
Yeah,
Yes.
you
You adapt it to suit
Yeah,
the
that's what done. Yeah.
flexibility.
Adoption comes from the child development. And it's when you try to crack a nut with your hands, and then you learn that actually a hammer is a lot more suitable to actually crack the nut. So you adopt to use a hammer to crack the nut.
You get some nutcrackers.
Yeah, oh, yeah, this is advanced. Yeah,
You just
after
see
the
these
hammer.
He's walking around with hammers in the hand. So, not my household.
The whole
After
floor.
all, anyway.
What happened? Cracking nuts. I'm so sorry. Yeah, okay. Yeah, anyway. But that feeds then, of course, back into external resources and as well capital. And so you may want to release as well from capital relationships. A lot of entrepreneurs do that, so that they can build their own fortune. Here's a creepy one. I just did the statistics for a conference for this. Well, what is the average income from an employee in the UK at the moment? What do you think? It's it's not just
25,
26, 27.
yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah? So it's at the moment between 25 to 27, depending which database you're crunching. Yeah? And how much is the average income of an entrepreneur?
80, 90?
Thousand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You have to keep in mind, all companies are by definition entrepreneurs. Yeah. So it's something like 150 million.
Whoa. Moral of the story, become an entrepreneur.
Yeah, but by the way, this is not a guarantee. Yeah? So you have to keep in mind, UK is as well slightly. How to put it? So UK has arrangements that makes it desirable for some entrepreneurs that may not otherwise be in the UK to be in the UK. So the statistics may be heavily imbalanced. Yeah. Nonetheless impressive. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say tax.
No, I didn't say that. I would say that wealth management-wise, London has many strategies provided. Yeah. Okay, anyway, we move. It's on camera. Okay, never mind. Okay, so anyway, feedback marketplace, and then we see how that links back. But okay, so what are the personal aspects of this and the risk-taking behind it? Yeah. So here we have the no common personality characteristics. So at least it's very difficult to distinguish. Yeah. So why do I actually write this? Because in the past there was this claim: you are born an entrepreneur, you are a natural leader. Yeah? And this is a hot topic. It emerges again, and it's normally lobbied for in particular groupings. And if you look at the statistics, there is no evidence for it. Yeah? I mean, of course, if you nurture a child and you say you will be a great entrepreneur, and you coach them, and this is how you do it, and then you say this is what you're doing for the rest of your life, then he will do this or she. Yeah. But this doesn't really make it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah? So we have actually no common personality characteristics of entrepreneurs, but personal background seems to have a motivation element. Yeah? So if you are surrounded by entrepreneurs already, you see it can happen, it can be a success, although there's risk, then you are better off. It's more likely that you go for it. Yeah? So this is quite interesting. And then it's as well more important for strategy development because motivation is another strong one behind it. So if people have as well examples around themselves where they see that people are actually motivated with the idea, and although they hear, it's a rubbish idea, you will never have success. And they say no, I believe in it, I will do it. If you have examples where you've seen that and it made it work, this gives you as well kind of a spark of, I do want to say hope, but confidence, I guess is the right word here. So not really surprising. Intuitionally, you would probably pitch for that as well in this direction. Then there's as well successful entrepreneurs are likely to be hardworking, confident, respective to new ideas. So you will see as well that they are not easily dismissive.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Receptiveness.
The second one.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Good listeners. People to pick up on, because if you go in with I'm not going to listen to this is going to be a stupid idea, whereas they're far more let's listen to what they've got to say first and then form an opinion.
Yeah.
Some people go in with shut us already down sort of thing.
Yeah, they probably have already made
the decision.
But and this is a key aspect. So as well the listening and then repeating it and showing how your idea could work in that setting. Yeah, this is very powerful. And the confident part is as well quite interesting. Hardworking, I'm contesting that. So hardworking was as well alluding to engaging with external networks. So not just getting your kind of idea right, Yeah, but going out as well, promoting, and that was, I suppose, the idea of hard working. It didn't mean that they built like a product in the garage for 25 years and then came out and said like, here it is, the masterpiece. Yeah? Although I adore that idea too. But
what about influential as well? I think they need to be influential. They need to have something about them that is good at selling ideas to others as well.
Yeah, it would be more successful. Minds, yeah, but we do see actually that a lot of entrepreneurs are quite introverted, careful listeners. Yeah, but very very good in their product, not so good in selling.
Maybe it's their business partners more the influential one, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and you will see. So we were talking about entrepreneurialism. A lot of entrepreneurs use kind of platforms like the Makersphere, like the tech group here in the Northeast, we have the two, or the IT Beacon in Usbel, Toffee Factory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So places like that, they are natural network places, and I think you have a lot of kind of businesses that go there as well to look out what the entrepreneurs do. So there's as well a pull mechanism. Yeah? So it's quite interesting. Then particular important personal skills as well, ability to transfer knowledge within an organization. And that is making your idea as well relevant to the people that may be interested. Yeah? And again, you may see here parallels in project management. Yeah? Or maybe not. No?
Well, yeah, in project management, I would say, well, in the industry I'm in, because there's no two projects are the same, and you've got to use a lot of that to make judgments and decisions at a particular time.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to listen to what people say, you've got to think about it, you've got to be confident in what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve. You've got to have personal skills, you've got to be able to talk to people, you've got to be able to create motivation. You've got to be able to approach people and ask the right questions without sounding offensive.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say a lot of that is probably project management.
I suppose the iterative element may not be so dominant necessarily. This depends on the project.
Yeah.
But entrepreneurs are, of course, kind of in the open with their idea of product service. They may see the problem or the opportunity already, but you have to kind of spin it as well and make it feasible actually to the organization. But you're right. I think that there are strong parallels. This is as well why this is actually in this series of lectures. So there's of course the risk as well, and in the entrepreneurial setting, you have inherently the risk yourself. So in other words, it's often involving a personal gamble. Yeah. And many people do so by not trying to just make one idea work. Oh, nobody went for... Who invented the Tesla? PayPal? No? Most? No? Doesn't ring a bell? Okay. Oh, okay. No, but the point that I wanted to make was it's the same with Virgin. So Virgin has as well like many different entrepreneurial undertakings, because often the initial idea that you have as an entrepreneur may not be the one that is fruitful, yeah? or that takes off. So it helps to have a portfolio of a few ideas that you're trying to run to actually make the most of it. Yeah? But that is as well where it sits. So there is a natural, if you do it sophisticated, you do portfolio management, yeah, what we had what you guys had last year, what you guys will have this year with me. Yeah, so it's basically the evaluation of the projects that you have, risk, opportunity gain, yeah, versus time, resources allocated. Yeah. And then you can shuffle it. So if you have like a certain profit margin, then it's okay to make it a little bit more risky. Yeah. But it's not okay if it's more risky and the returns are low. Then you have to plug the project. Yeah? Then you cannot put more resources in. So it's a very, I suppose, strategic way of evaluating it. But this is what all the investment. If you look at capital investment, this is what's being played at the moment largely. Important to distinguish is as well between risk and uncertainty. You have that with Claudio in a lot of detail, but just to remind us, so risk, the measurable chance of making a loss, and how high, and how likely it is. So you have the value that kind of can be calculated in. Uncertainty is the unknown consequence of a business opportunity, immeasurable to a degree. You can as well kind of calculate how likely uncertainty is, but again, this is kind of a guess. Yeah? So, risk may be reduced by further research, while uncertainty is unlikely to be reduced. But again, as an entrepreneur, you become more and more aware of your uncertainties, so you become as well kind of more risk aware. Yeah? And uncertainty reduces to a degree. It doesn't go really away, yeah? But it gets maybe smaller. Importantly, risk reduction can cause tension in some organizations because the resources required to research the risk may need to be taken from other parts of such companies, such as reducing opportunities elsewhere. To give you a few examples, so there's the first space missions, for example, had no risk assessment. Yeah? They just went with the best stuff they had, didn't spend any time of risk assessment. Yeah? So particularly the Apollo missions, yeah, what is the best stuff against radiation? Aluminium foil. Let's take aluminium foil. So they wrapped it in aluminium foil. Yeah? Kind of worked, and a few. Some it didn't work. Yeah? So basically going with the best solution. And as an entrepreneur, you probably do the same. You probably pick the solutions that you find best suited. So it can have an impact on the risk assessment. You will see if you go for capital investment from external sources, you're often asked to do a risk assessment. So then you have to commit to that. As well, when it comes to your business plan, I have a list later on what's traditionally in there. You will see that is important. Now there is as well a personal aspect to this whole story. So other question, how do we entrepreneurs develop opportunities? So there are various series, and again, in the paper from Alex and me, I kind of tried to spin off where we normally connect with entrepreneurial ideas, and how we can as well generate crazy. Sorry, I said crazy. How we can generate ideas. Yeah? So dominant ones are the experiential learning circle. This is basically corps. I'll show it to you in a second. And then this is kind of the old stuff, we had that already. And then the effectual reasoning, this is the new stuff. And that is what I wanted to kind of introduce, because I think a lot of you do it already. It's very powerful, even in companies. So you don't have to be an entrepreneur, you can as well be an intrapreneur in your company. You know, like optimize how you're doing projects, or maybe look at the product design or service that you're running, and actually innovate on that line. Yeah, but we will look at this now.
It's very kind of, it can be closed though, can't it? Because if, you know, no matter how many times you say, oh, this needs changed, or you could do this a lot better, or if we introduce it, it's the managerial kind of positions that decide whether. Yeah.
So hierarchy companies, so hierarchy-based companies. Yeah. So you have an issue. You're quite right. Yeah. So you may not be in the right place to innovate. Yeah. Then it's actually I give you a more cynical notion. So my colleague actually, the American guys, sorry, they were really a lot worse there. I remember working for an American company. I don't want to name names here, but. They had a particular setup, particularly in North America, where they would say, if there's a problem, there is no problem unless you have a better solution. So they were kind of suppressing the recognition of problems so that you could kind of work on them, because if you didn't have a solution, then there was no point yet looking at it. And that was kind of like very demoralizing, or at least we in the Sub-Saharan African Business Unit found so, which is 2 continents really. So we were based on the other side, and we were like, no, this is rubbish. We went basically with it, but we had pretty flat hierarchies because we run as a consultancy, and we were just kind of seeing ourselves as empowering. So hierarchy can have a huge effect. And we talk about that when we come to the entrepreneur. Yeah, so strategies.
But the best thing you can do when you're in a hierarchical structure like that is that if you identify an issue, you highlight it to them. It's up to the hierarchy to decide whether that's accepted within the business or
Well,
the
we
strategy?
come to that actually, but I would still suggest not to lose your horses. You know, I would recommend, and you will see as well the CSC example, they recommend actually that you put as well your solutions forward. You know, I think this is a problem that we can actually solve this way, and this will allow us higher efficiency. You know, pitch it straight away. That is in a way, and you may lose fame, sadly. Yeah? So some companies have been renowned that senior management uses that as a promotional tool for themselves, and claim the glory for themselves, but instead of recognizing you. So there's a danger with that, but nonetheless, you will be probably recognized as well, and probably be kept close to that senior management member because they realize the strategic value of you. Okay. Not sure if that is desirable or not. That's a different story.
Always the case.
Pick the one that you like, see.
Yeah, so there's an implication with that. Now this is Kolb's learning cycle, if you want. So very simplified. You have a concrete experience. You have observations from it. You reflect on them and think like, is that the way it should be? Then you form abstract consistency that maybe it would be better to do it this way. And then you test the new situation. And then you have the concrete experience and you realize, not such a good idea. Let's try something new. And you go through it again. Yeah? Till you have something new. Yeah. Particularly annoying when you're with people with me. I'm highly motivated by trying new things and doing the same thing as usual. So people around me get really annoyed.
Are you a good finisher? Do you finish things or do you just start them?
I do the whole thing if required. This depends, actually.
I
I have to say, my PhD took a very long time, but everything else, you know, I can finish quite quickly.
You appear to me the person who would instigate a lot of new thoughts, but whether you would see something through. You know, we did the Belbin. I know you're not keen on Belbin, but it's the finish, the starters and the finishers, and you know, there's
you get the dynamic
places
people
for
who do
everybody.
the exciting, sexy bits, but the run-of-the-mill stuff they don't want to be involved in. So they'll wait till the project starts, then they'll do all the sexy bits, so it looks like nice, and then when it gets to the end, they're just not interested.
No, I like the technical detail as well.
Sometimes
so
sets
a lot.
free thinkers apart from others because because they don't do the nitty gritty, they don't do the roll the sleeves up, they just come up with the
No, but I like the ideas too. So this is the problem, yeah. So if you have one factory, I kind of figured out how it works, and we have standardized ways. And then we were like, yeah, we could reverse it too, and you know, it doesn't need to hang from the wall, from the ceiling. We could just well put it against the wall and see how that affects. So I would build different, like the same plant, basically different ways, and this really upset a few of my colleagues. But so I'm generally curious and think like, oh, this works too, and then I want to try it out, and then people don't like it. But okay, that's a different story. So it's yeah, so Kolb's learning circle to that. Sorry. Then we have the effectuation, and this is really something. So this was as well a long time around, and when I explain it to you, you will say like, "Oh, what? My parents have already done that before 2001." So Sarah basically looked at. She observed a lot of entrepreneurs and looked at kind of patterns that made them successful and made them kind of push on with ideas as well, making them real. Yeah. So you know, you have this vision, this idea, and you're making it happen. So she wondered, like, why are they successful? I have so many ideas too, but mine never happened. Yeah? And so this is what she looked at. A beautiful paper, so worth a read. It's a 20-pager. She has now put kind of the same thing, extended into 500 pages into a book as well, published I think 2 years ago. Costs a lot of money. Article for free, down. Yeah? All I'm saying. They have as well this wonderful web page. This is as well what I want to use for our case study. Yeah? So the effectuation and effectual action. This is the web page. Yeah? And I'll show you the link as well in a bit. So what is effectuation? Now first, it's an American paper, I forgot about it. So first the sales pitch. Effectuation fundamentally rethinks how entrepreneurship is researched and taught throughout the world. Okay, this didn't tell us too much, but effectuation is a logic used by expert entrepreneurs to solve problems in a highly uncertain market environment. So this is where it comes from. So in other words, you have no market yet. You create your own market. Yeah. So it's a little bit like the sensor guy, like saying like, hey, I want to do it now on all construction sites, and all the research institutes, oh, we do this already since 50 or 60 years. There's no market for this. And he's like, yeah, but hey, companies, do you want to try it? It's cheaper, and I think we can standardize it and replace concrete cubes. Oh yeah, this is a great idea. 50 years later. So it took 50 years for this to work. Yeah? So no market before, but then suddenly there's a market. Yeah? Then entrepreneurs can learn to think and act effectually. So this is important to realize, and this is why I kind of introduce this as well to you. So this will increase your ability to create successful ventures, if you want, or spin-off ideas that potentially your senior manager runs away with. Yeah, but this is up to you. Yeah. So here's the actual definition. So just to compare again, causation. This is what we use in a lot of businesses, and probably in your company too. You will recognize that. The focus is on achieving a desired goal through a specific set of given means. A little bit our project setting. Yeah. Causation invokes search and select tactics, and underlies most good management theories. So causal thinking believes that if I can predict the future, I can control it. And this is a little bit what risk management is based on. So you will see a lot of our project management tools are on predictions that we then control, monitor, to actually achieve what we are after. Now, actually, I've already kind of introduced to you as well. To you, I will introduce it next year. Design thinking, so this goes as well into the effectuation strategy. It's like more centric to working in an iterative process and working basically with the factors that you discovered during the project. So effectuation, the focus is on using a set of evolving means to achieve new and different goals. Effectuation evokes creative and transformative tactics. Effectual logics is the name given to heuristics used by expert entrepreneurs in new venture creation. Effectual thinkers believe that if I can control the future, I do not need to predict it. No? So you're committed. If stuff happens, we will figure out how we can do it. No? That is a little bit how it works. Well, what does heuristics mean? Heuristics? Is this good? What is heuristics? Do you know? Well, it's a type of information you're using. Yeah? Is heuristics empirie, what happens all the time? Heuristics is somebody has shown it once. Yeah, that's your heuristic example. Yeah, so you look at practices where it has been where it has worked, and you try it out. Yeah? So there's maybe no dominant pattern yet. Yeah? It's not causal, but it has worked once, or you could see that it may work. Yeah? So it's more experimental in the sense, or explorative, if you want. If you think of the quantitative, qualitative methods, maybe to evaluate. Yeah? So here's a little bit broken down how this may actually change in terms of given means. So managerial thinking is distinguishing characteristics, selecting between given means to achieve a predetermined goal. So here we have our means. Mean one may be resources that we need. Mean two is our team. So material, men and women, yeah, so and so forth. Yeah? And then we have our given goals, so we can achieve it. Yeah? And then entrepreneurial thinking, effectual is distinguishing characteristic, imagining a possible need using a given set of means. So we have our means, and we think like, hey, what can we actually do with it? Yeah. And then you may have multiple options that you try to pitch. Does that make sense? So somebody was sitting there like, why do I have a mobile and a camera, so many devices? Why can we not have one? And ta-da! Yeah, okay. Well, it wasn't maybe that linear. All I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm always dubious though when things promise to do more than one job. Because if you lose your phone, you're scuppered nowadays, aren't you?
Yeah, risk strategy is pretty grim there.
It's just, when things say, like wash and dryer machines, you go through. I've never really bought one, but I know my parents did because I had a small kitchen, and they must have had about one every couple of years because it was trying to do too many things. Be a washer or a dryer, but you can't be both. It's not possible.
I agree with the whole washer dryer thing.
Yeah.
I've heard so many people say about washer dryers.
Well, that they're good or
yeah,
not?
no bad. Like they break.
All right, you
yeah,
me.
I
All
agree
right,
with
okay.
you.
Yeah. So sometimes you've got to know just when things don't work well together and give up.
Yeah.
Don't try to combine it. This was a bad idea. Okay, I like it.
But they've homed in on the market because
Which
they
hospital
know
did you work at?
they know that people have small kitchens, apartments, that sort of thing, and so they think, oh yeah, well we'll sell it to them, and it's an expensive thing to have to keep replacing because they're more costly.
It's only good if it works.
Yeah.
I have a friend that does actually kind of work in entrepreneurial business. That they have like designs to kind of challenge problems. And the newest thing that they kind of promote at the moment is a real thing. It's like a walker or ski thingy stick, and it has a tumble dryer in the engine. So basically, the force that you basically create dries your clothes.
So like a cross
Oh,
trainer.
like
Cross trainer,
That's a
yeah,
great
exactly.
idea.
Yeah.
But you need a lot of space for it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you need to fit that.
Yeah.
So maybe this is pitched at the UK market, where clearly the washing machine with an included tumbler.
Oh, you should be able to plug it in and it runs your power in your house.
Yeah.
Like a hamster wheel. Do you know what? That's really
You
good
shouldn't do
stuff.
that with your hamster. That is just logic.
Just with your partner. No, but it's actually quite a good idea because then it would reduce obesity and keep the government happy, and also reduce emissions. Like there you go.
You can watch TV at the same time.
Green
Powered by
energy.
your own energy.
And you get thin.
I like how the strategic strategies from the government have like been
he's
picked there.
stealing that idea and he's going to change it and adapt it and create.
Yeah. But I did like, we should just stop there. So the point, of course, of this is, it may not work, it may break after a year, but you try to then improve it. And actually, I shouldn't even go into that. But there are washing machines with dryers that have been running longer than a year. Actually, you have guarantee with certain companies. So, but they're on the higher end. Pardon?
Yeah.
Just Zanussi, they keep sending stuff through the door saying, have you registered your product for warranty, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but joke aside, but there are many providers like Bosch, for example. They're very proud of that. Any kind of washer, they give you 5 years, right?
I must have picked the wrong.
No, but even if it does break every year,
Yeah,
you get always a brand new one. So this would be pretty brilliant.
Oh, that's not
I
very
also
good.
learned from the cross-trainer tumble dryer thing. What about, on treadmills?
Yeah.
How you have the little television screen when you're running? What about you walking or you running powers the television screen?
That's a good idea.
That exists.
Does that exist?
Yeah.
That's
But again, they are not in the gym. You should maybe this is your business opportunity.
This is what it should be. Because then it would make people run a bit quicker. Like, I've got to see the end of Coronation Street or whatever they want to watch.
I have to admit that I used to row on the and I would listen to music, and I realized that I would actually automatically row faster if the music goes faster. But how is that with movies? This is what I don't get. When you get really...
Yeah, I know.
There are a lot of dramas, right? It's just so sad. It's like you want to stop and just think like, oh, terrible.
Yeah. I like listening to music while exercising, but when you're running along the roads, that's not possible. Because it's dangerous and you can't hear cars.
What roads are you running on? Okay.
Like little roads.
Okay.
I've learned that.
Yeah, don't run on roads, I guess.
You should cycle with music in your ear.
Yeah, no, that's dangerous as well.
Okay. Maybe there's another invention. So how would you hear music then when cycling?
Well, you don't. You just cycle and you watch out for traffic. Why are we always going to have every senses go at the same time? Why don't you just
Watching
look?
television while cycling. This is the next one. Dark movie. No, I can't see anything. Why? Yeah. But yeah, actually, just on that note, there is a big, with the hearing, this is a big problem. It works both ways. So cars are, of course, well insulated. So I don't know if you've tried that. If you close any new car and it's properly sealed, you will not hear somebody shouting outside. If you have radio on normal, like loudspeaker, all the limousines are basically artificially soundproof. So there's no chance you are hearing anything either. So, as a cyclist, you feel at least the vibration on your body directly, or the hit of the. Okay, but those are kind of the two different concepts, yeah. And let's have a little bit a look at it. So causal reasoning focuses on, of course, on expectations, an expected return. Yeah, or return on your investment potentially. Yeah, effectual reasoning doesn't do so necessarily. So effectual reasoning emphasizes affordable loss. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we have a look actually at that in a second. While causal reasoning depends upon competitive analysis, effectual reasoning is built upon strategic partnerships. So you look where your opportunity may be feasible for. You look actively who you can work with together to make that happen. So it's network oriented. While causal reasoning urges the exploitation of pre-existing knowledge and prediction, effectual reasoning stresses the leveraging of contingencies and as well. What do I mean by leveraging? Can't say the word. Contingencies.
The sharing out of contingencies, making sure that they're equally balanced.
So contingencies are you have certain products that you're consuming, yeah? And then you're kind of providing like a smoother, maybe a nicer interface or something new that makes the experience better, maybe faster, maybe more easier to use, more intuitional, something like that. Yeah. Again, you want to read my paper on this. Yeah? I have a weird theory there. I say that every device has to be thought as an extension of the human body. You know where this is coming from, ironically. Yeah? That was a monkey story. Yeah? But I actually theorize how you can be innovative. And I think I have a huge hypothesis there. It's not just coming from me, it's actually kind of 50 years of history of technology development. But okay, so and the contingencies is basically what makes us, how we fill our life, yeah? What we use, how we connect, how we communicate, what we do. Yeah? In the past, if you lived in a let's take the imaginative caveman example. Yeah? You lived in your little cave. It was a very simple life. Yeah? You would get up, you would do probably most things with your hands, maybe with a stick. I do caveman wrong here on a large scale, but anyway, new technology would be something like the spear with a stone as a pointy thing on the spear. Now this would be like in the news. This would be the magazine to read like, oh my gosh, have you seen the new spear? It's like the new i8 BMW. Yeah, so it's the same thing. Yeah. So and you would have not so much technology to refine your life. This would be your spear. You would go hunting. Mostly you would run yourself. So that there would be no technology. And around this, we have now refined technology to change our life, our interface. So we have refined it a lot more. I hope that makes sense. Yeah? So contingencies around the life are very powerful, like toothpaste, breakfast cereal. They have understood that we go through certain notions of living that are contingencies in our life. Anthropomorphization is the term, if you want to look it up. It means human bias, subjectivity that our mind cannot escape. Yeah? If you build a really cool device for artificial intelligence, for robots or machines, you will have to search very long to find fans. Yeah? It's very difficult. There is a joke for this, for the most extreme. I don't know if you know the Flight of the Conchords, comedian band. Okay, maybe this was when I was still connected with the television world. So in 1999. Yeah, okay, never mind. Some time ago, there was a band, and they sang a joke song, "The Humans Are Dead." So it's a song for the artificial intelligence. It's a new market, so their joke was basically that if artificial intelligence takes over the world, we have a stand so we may survive, because they want to listen to this song. But it's a joke. It's a joke song, and they sing basically what happened. Never mind. So have a look. It's a terribly pitched joke. Yeah, but
Is it a Eurovision Song Contest?
no, it's a comedian band, and it's generally really entertaining. Yeah, so if you watch it, it's funny. Okay, maybe I show it later briefly, because I have now got myself into a corner. Yeah, but okay. Here's the dynamics of the effectual logic, kind of as a sort algorithm, if you want. Yeah. So you have the actual means. Who am I? What I know? Whom I know? So this is network oriented. Then what can I do? You have the actual courses of action possible, yeah, that you see possible for yourself. And with this as well, affordable losses. Yeah. So I don't know why, but the typical example that comes up for that is a colleague basically brings always really nice food to his place, and he has an open office and shares with 5 colleagues. And it's always a little bit too much, so his friends are like really keen on that, yeah, because they don't have like cool food like this. And so they try it, and it's delicious, and they are like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have your food for lunch every day. And you know, like the wife like comes home and tells her husband that cooked a meal for him, like, you wouldn't believe what the other men tell me, but yeah, your food is heavily appreciated. Do you think you could cook it as well? Could you make 2 portions? And you know, the husband sees the opportunity and says like, hey, you know what? Maybe this is a business opportunity. Yeah, I make you 5 lunches every day for so and so much money. Yeah, and then the wife basically sells those at work, yeah, to the colleagues. Does that make sense? No. And this works really well, and then like one of the guys sits outside and tries it and meets a friend, and he tries it and he's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then the whole office block wants it, and you know, this is how catering starts basically. Yeah? Did that make sense in the logic steps? Yeah? Okay. So this is basically affordable losses as well, because it can go wrong. Yeah? Then you have the interactions with people, so this is what I kind of described. Effectual stakeholder commitments, yeah, people are happy to pay for it. So then you may have new means or new goals. So here it's a converging cycle of constraints. So you may have new markets and new firms. So, you know, like because a friend asked for the whole office block, and then somebody else is maybe, hey, we should have that for the whole public sector. This is the best food ever. Let's get rid of our canteen. This is better. And then so this is basically what it directs. And here, expanding as well cycle of resources if new means are there. Yeah? So you have new clients that want it. Does that make sense? Yeah. And here it's maybe, I want dessert too. Can you make dessert too? Yeah, and then, or can you deliver it to the other place? So you have logistics involved there. You see a new business opportunity. Yeah? Yeah. Or you sell it online. They can pick from the menu. Okay. So 4 main drivers of any entrepreneurial strategy come kind of down to imagination, ideas, invention, and innovation. We have a look at this. So actually, do we have that? Imagination, ideas, invention. Oh, I think I described those in more detail in my paper. Okay, I really have to upload it now. Now this is a cycle where I kind of try to map new product development in entrepreneurial strategy to what we kind of do in the project life cycle, that you may remember. So we have at the beginning, the exploration begins by generating many ideas. Brainstorming, actually I've named a few on the next slide. Then you have a screening, you weed out the ideas, yeah, but you develop them proper, yeah, that you have like good ideas, and then you screen them basically. Then you have the business analysis, so analyze versus company objectives and resources. Then the development, new ideas become small-scale reality via technology. You can as well simulate them. Then test them, market research. Sometimes you test them on the market directly. Yeah? So we have now a wonderful thing like agile manufacturing This is just one example. We have a lot more methods of bringing stuff straight to the market, so you may test it in your local shop. Yeah. Particularly, I'm impressed in China. I've again forgotten the city name, but the biggest innovation for mobile phones comes at the moment from this particular city, because you have teams that kind of develop as well the mainstream mobile phones, but they adapt as well the kind of recycled old stuff into new mobiles. And if it sells, they try it in other regional markets, and if it then takes off, it becomes a product on the Chinese market. Not yet coming back to Europe and America, sadly, but it's pretty cool phones, at least the ones that I saw. So as well, the testing and market research may be actually very applied. And then you have the commercial project, launch of the product, and with big announcement and everything that belongs to it.
So it's a bit like a gate review with each step as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. So this is exactly parallel kind of to our project management or product design, if you want. Yeah. Now, with this you have as well, main starting points. So you have either brainstorming, the rapid thought gathering, I think is a... Yeah, anyway, but the rapid generation of ideas by a group, often from a wide variety of backgrounds. Some of you have already done that last year with me. If you will do that this year with me. Yeah, so we will play around a little bit with creative, thought-provoking methods to kind of look at how to come up with solutions. Yeah? Then focus groups is kind of the other dominant one. Discussion of around 5 to 8 people selected for the relevance of the subject, with the evidence being qualitative and not quantitative. So here you're looking if they're actually interested, but this can be as well, both can be highest biased. So there are cautions to be recognized. So typical process for developing these initial ideas then involves screening and evaluating. This is exactly what we do to avoid that. Yeah. Followed by a technical realization process and market testing, as I described. Yeah. So this is basically this. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Now, when we then come to kind of where does innovation come from, and we have that already. We have a lot of discoveries, ideas, but we have to kind of bring it as well to the market. So this is kind of where innovation sits. And again, innovation, the literature here is dominated by US writers, and you will see in my paper I use actually a different definition, but here it's pretty feasible in the line what we had. So innovation is the generation and exploitation of new ideas. The process moves products and services, human and capital resources, markets and production processes beyond their current boundaries and capabilities. So the combination of all that basically allows you to achieve a lot more to what you actually had in the first place. Now, with this, just to break it down, so this is Dublin Research is an institute. They kind of came up with 10 types of innovation, and it's copyrighted, which you can see. So they kind of divided into finance, process, offering, and delivery. It's a little bit along the lines what we have as well in product management, if you think about it. So first one is the business model, how an enterprise makes money, value chain and partnering. Then the process enabling process, so routine, non-differentiating processes often outsourced to others. Then core processes, this is kind of your business. Differentiating proprietary processes, so this is like how you are doing it. Offering, then product performance, basic features and functions. Then product system, structured offering with an array of tailorable integrated components. So this is basically how you can adapt it. So how it interlinks with other products, services, or what you want to do with it. Service assistance provided to prospects and customers. And then the delivery is a channel. Here you have conduits through with offerings reach customers. Then you have the brand, how value is communicated to customers. Customer experience, all aspects of customer interaction with a company and its brand. Yeah. There are as well examples on this webpage. So as it says, mouse over it. So check the webpage out. It's still pretty cool. Here is kind of how we spend normally our money. So So this is from, this is 2006, I should have really updated that. Volume of innovation efforts in the last 10 years, so where we actually invest the money to improve. Yeah? So you finance our business model, we keep it kind of the same, we play a little bit around, like more new companies play a lot around with it. Yeah? Then you have networking, we spend a little bit money on that. Then enabling processes, so this is as well linking our product to kind of the other supply chain, we spend a little bit money on that. Core processes, well, our process line, once it works, we're normally quite comfortable with it. Product performance, we try to make it more durable and spend a lot of money on it. As you can see, the product system kind of second most. Then service, how we actually implement it, of course, a little bit money. Then in the delivery, a lot on the channels, where we actually bring it. Then the brand, sometimes more than, so this is country specific, in America and kind of UK or Anglo-Saxon countries where we are quite brand focused. In China as well, In India, is brand important in India? Yeah, okay, very much so. Okay, I didn't realize that. Then in other places it can be counterproductive. Customer experience, not so much, but as well a little bit. So where do you think the biggest impact? Where is our money generated? If you have a project, where does your money get generated? Delivery? So here. Customer experience? Yeah, is this where it is? I like that. This is how it should be, I think, all about the customer experience, the actual use. I think, well, it's not just one, so it's spread. But where do you think the highest value is generated, the most money? Does it make sense?
I know, because I'm looking at
should I go one further back? So
if
here.
you haven't got a business model, you can't make any money, can you?
Yeah, so business model,
right?
Yeah, you write the percentage in here, right? So business model, you say like, hey, we are a good company, we just make 25% profit. It's pretty good. You could probably go on the stock market with that. Then networking, value chain, probably you try to optimize. Enabling process, so this is kind of your network around you. For example, if you get like in a mobile, you may want a screen from somebody else, but your nice software just looks nice if it's a nice screen. So you want to, hey, come on, we need to have good quality on the screen. Oh, but this means we have to see it in a particular way. So this, okay. So you are happy with that. At this cost. Then core processes, like how you are producing it. It's probably as well quite high. This is probably where you produce a lot of money. But it's mostly production value. So you want probably good machines that last. So a little bit money, but again, product performance, does that matter? If the washing machine breaks after 1 year, what do you do?
Give up and get a separate unit. Go get another one.
Yeah, exactly. So this not so much. It's actually the opposite. It's quite bad. Then product system, how it works. Yes, it does. People don't like systems that don't work. Service. Yeah, for some
after service sort of thing.
For some products or services, it's a deal breaker. So, particular construction, if the manufacturer isn't showing you how to use the machine, you're probably not buying the machine. So, channel offerings to reach customers. Advertising. Yeah, very good, right? And as well, values communicated to brand. They're very high. Customer experience should be as well very high. So here again, how we're spending. Here where the money is generated. So if you're in the right networks, if you have the right business model, then there's the highest trace. So customer experience, brand. So it's counterintuitive. Yeah, it's actually the opposite if you look at it. Yeah. Quite fascinating, isn't it? I mean, as an engineer, yeah, from my upbringing, yeah, I still favor this part and this part a lot, yeah, and this one and this part, and not so much this part. But I have favoritism here, but just be aware of this. The data has shifted a little bit. We have now a lot of tech companies that actually is where finance a lot here. They're very smart in this, and they're very good in this too. Yeah. Yeah. And here's the shocking statistics. So less than 2% of all projects produce more than 90% of all value. Yeah. So this sounds a little bit like the entrepreneur, yeah? Opportunities versus risk. Yeah? I mean, the other one creates value too, but just gradual, yeah? Not the same impact. Yeah? Now, I talked already before about entrepreneurship, but we have as well the entrepreneurship. So this is kind of in the company. Yeah? So here is, well, entrepreneurship is possible in large companies called entrepreneurship. Yeah? Gets more hectic if you're in medium-sized companies and you have stringent senior managers, yeah, that are hierarchy-oriented. Then you may run into traps. So then you have to sell it. You know, like say, "Oh, should we not think of this?" Maybe without the "ooh," but you know, this is idea. So then, entrepreneurship focuses on the identification and exploitation of creative and innovative opportunities within larger companies or organizations. And entrepreneurship needs to be supported by various company policies that encourage entrepreneurial activities and risk-taking. So there you go. So in a way, we recognize your problem that you indicated. Larger companies may experience structural barriers inherent in their size that can typically inhibit entrepreneurial activities. So particular ones are greater bureaucracy, more complex and multi-layered decision-making, lack of willingness to share ideas and data, empires built around existing products and services. So, and if you feel this is a company you recognize yourself in, yeah, this is very hard. And I can tell you now, ironically, universities are this too. Yeah, and there are few staff that still innovate. Yeah, and the truth is that we probably, I told you already about my favoritism, trying the same thing in a new way. So I clearly as well would have difficulties to innovate. Yeah, so, but I try new, like, so let's put it the other way around. So Ponopto, things like this, are not necessarily promoted by our structure. So you need staff that are willing to try it out. And you've seen during the semester a lot of stuff going wrong, like screens like disappearing or Ponopto not working, or videos like taking a lot. Well, you don't see necessarily the stuff that goes on in the background, but the software wasn't yet fully developed. So you need then additional resources to put in. And you can only then, in a company like that, probably promote it on a causal basis. Yeah, you can say, actually, I've piloted it against your recommendations, and it works. Yeah, so it's actually good.
But most established companies are going to be like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, well, they haven't been successful for so long.
Well, this depends. Yes, in general. So the traditional business model is around that, but you would probably have to admit that companies like Google or Amazon are as well now established companies, and they run already different models. So they are a lot more there. Having said so, in London I was really disappointed with the Google campus, because it's actually not like a campus what I kind of know from Switzerland or what I've heard what Silicon Valley is like. It's not very open, it's very hidden, so the entrepreneurs sit there as well and hide away, and if you kind of contact them, then they kind of try to figure out straight away who are you? Are you an investor and academic was not very high and they're kind of rating like academic. What is your field? I don't know. Okay. So it was like on very weak ground. But the key here is that if you have bureaucracy, you're running as well against it, because all the processes, the documentation, the monitoring has to change as well according to what you want. Oh, I like how the political
I mean, I come from a large organisation, obviously in NHS, but even within our trust, you know the ones which are very, some departments are very archaic, like dermatology are very old-fashioned with methodologies, and everything's handwritten, and you know it's not a paperless society certainly. And then you get the others, like the medical physics team, who are planning 10 years plus in the future and want all the new equipment to be in competition with their colleagues at James Cook, and you know they're just a different type of attitude, I guess. The ones who are innovative are the ones who look to the future, not the ones who are just coping to on a day-to-day basis. But maybe they don't have the luxury to think about the future.
Yeah, well, it goes in both directions. So if you're always just responding, that keeps you very busy too, and it's very difficult to then step away and look in the future. You know?
Bring in consultants.
Yeah, and you indicated as well that there are maybe empires in organizations, and we have that here too. So and you step maybe on somebody's toes, and especially if your innovation kind of falls in that area, or if you are particular about this, you win the research grant that kind of is for establishing a particular research institution in the institution. That is where you better have already the signature from the vice chancellor or something like that. Otherwise, you're in a lot of trouble. I've heard that happens. But I mean, this is just university. We see now as well in a lot of companies where they actually move to innovation units, or where they kind of establish new organization forms, project management office maybe, or program office, to actually allow innovation to arrive as well in the organization. This is already the case at larger, small to medium-sized enterprises. So when you kind of hit 20 to 50 employees, this is where this becomes potentially already a factor for your organization.
Just keeping on the same subject, but just touching on partnership and collaboration. Would you say that entrepreneurship could have taken place within the strategy, like within the partnership? Oh, you're not even saying.
Yeah, it could, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, this is a parallel theory, if you want. Yeah.
Right.
So be careful to rewrite your whole assessment based on it. Yeah?
No. I was just it was just sort of when you were going on about the effectual, and you said about it was based on strategic partnerships.
Yeah, so effectual reasoning is the very idea why you would go in a joint venture, or you know, as an entrepreneur, it's sometimes you can do your own thing. Yeah? So think of the oil lamp, and the oil. If you can do both, you have a business. You know, you bring it to the market, people buy it, you actually give it for free. Here, have some with some oil, and then I see you next week. What? Why?
So effectual, is that entirely just to do with entrepreneurialism?
No, it's with everything. Yeah, so it's and think about it. Entrepreneurialism, if you think about it in a bigger sense, even large companies are entrepreneurs to a degree. Yeah. So often this is very differently presented, but you still have the setting. You have a business setting where they try to bring a product or service to the industry. Yeah.
Do you say larger companies, but do you not think like some companies, more creative companies, in the actual product, would be more likely to have entrepreneurship going on, just by nature of the actual thing? That if it was a media company or an advertising agency, they're bound to have people sat to one side who are the creative department, but you wouldn't have that in an accountancy practice, would you?
So how have we done that in the past, if that is not so common? That is a good question. Yeah. So in the past, we had the consultants, the specialists. You know, the who gave me the example? The person that had enough from their job and kind of started doing their own job, and this was your example, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So this is very common. You're in a company. You kind of you are the only person that can provide the service for the company. You have become a specialist actually in it, and you realize this is highly desired in your industry. A lot of people then leave the company and offer it as a consultancy, as a specialist service, and cut off the other work that was kind of hindering them from like doing more of this stuff. and then like pitch it out to other companies. This is very common. And I mean, the particular creative industry, BBC, all consultants. If you looked at the shows, there's hardly anybody employed by BBC or TV industry in general. They all are self-employed. There's very dodgy practice actually going on in that industry. But I mean, quite frankly, the creativity comes from people kind of trying to promote their services in new spins. So they have a new narrative that they try to pitch off, and then it either gets taken up or not. And this is as well, I suppose there are a few countries are actually famous for this. So in Germany, we have a particular title for so it's a subject expert that is kind of at professional level, that is a specialist in advancing a particular part of your production. So they are kind of legitimate innovators. Japan has the same, then South Korea has a similar term for that. And different industries have differently with it. So why is this like external? Because they have so strong empires. All three countries that I've named, South Korea, Japan, and Germany, all extremely hierarchy driven. Yeah. So this is especially where you have that. In the UK, it's partly hierarchy driven, but you have more. Actually, in the UK, you have more empires. So in the spaces in between, you can actually innovate a lot. This is why UK has actually not been bad in innovation, or the other way around, pretty good actually. So it's quite interesting. Yeah, but to overcome these, I researched this in Volvo 2012 with two of my students. Three, yeah. But anyway, one wrote a paper with me. We looked at that in particular, and we looked at the knowledge management, and it was fascinating. In Volvo, they had so much issues because they had wonderful, innovative staff. But if somebody changed something here, the rest of the line had to be updated. So you couldn't consistently change, it created enormous inefficiencies. So because if you then want to produce large amount of cars or trucks or whatever, efficiencies do matter. This is where you make the real margin, because it's a multiplier in scales, of course. And this was where the huge frustration for a lot of young engineers, project managers, or workers in general in Volvo came from. So they started an innovation unit. It was a huge success. And they have now really spun off into different products as well. And I think they will come back actually. We'll probably see that in the next 5 years. So in 3 years ago, they weren't that well off. They were actually struggling. So to overcome these related difficulties, they do have that. PMO.
Sorry,
they have that actually in the PMO in the Nissan. Keith Copeland is the director for that. So they try to look at that as well. But at the moment, they have ideology issues. They have kind of as well a lean thinking idea. And it restricts innovation, of course, if it's not making it more efficient or less wasteful. But innovation, you have to think then in the long run.
Yeah.
So and
Just
that becomes very
he's
difficult.
a design engineer, and he's always on the shop floor. Somebody points something out to him, he goes straight on the shop floor, and they try and work around it. Just you're talking about the production side of things, and improve it the next time. I think it's very fluid, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, this is another thing. So to follow actually your product through, so the designers are accountable as well for what the product actually is in the construction and how it knocks on in running it actually. So this is very smart, but you just keep the designer here extremely stretched and very involved. So it makes it a more rounded design, but there are other drawbacks with it. Okay, so entrepreneurship policies that may help, maybe ownership rights. So here again, your brilliant idea, instead of your senior manager running off with it, you have ownership rights. This was my idea. This becomes, by the way, quite difficult. But nonetheless, it may be desirable. Groups gain recognition for new opportunity development. It can be as simple as ideas list to problems. So you may have that in your company. This is normally, as a project manager, you can do something like this quite cheaply. You put a poster up and say ideas box, and you write them out, and if there's a name to it, then you recognize it.
£15 voucher.
Yeah, okay, this is the next stage. You incentivize.
Oh, so this is where the NHS spends
No,
the
they've
money.
done it now, but they've done it before. They have done it before, innovation and that sort of thing. Good ideas. Anybody got any good ideas to make this better? And, you know, there's a little box and you put your form in and you can win £15 voucher. That was something that was trialled.
Yeah.
It didn't work, I don't think.
Oh, it didn't.
I
I think that there's a
I've
cultural
seen that
issue.
on construction sites, so
yeah.
you know,
It does work.
can we do this better? And,
Yeah, on construction side, because it's operative, it works very well. Yeah. If you are on the passive side and you're not allowed to change it, then you're just frustrating people more. Yeah. So you see repeatedly while still doing it a painful way. Yeah. You see how it could be done better. You're like, yes, we want this. No, you cannot change it. We have to run it through the processes. Yeah? So this is basically where this becomes particularly painful. Now this is actually then grinding down motivation. You're doing the opposite. You're really rubbing it in the face that this is really not the way how you should be doing it. Yeah? So you have to act on this. Yeah. So if there's cool stuff on the board, you as a manager you will have to push for this. Yeah? Otherwise, you are really grinding the morale of the whole team. Yeah? That doesn't make sense. Or delete it quickly. Yeah? Make sure not everybody has seen it. No, this wasn't there. Yeah? So no. But, I'm joking about this. Yeah? This is not how you should. Don't delete it. Yeah? Do it. Other ones are profit centers. Yeah? So performance judged by size of new opportunity. Again, this is slightly contested, but there are many good applications from it. And then entrepreneurial team building to overcome barriers. So you basically allow people to have topics or ideas that they can assign to. Now this is actually the business idea from Google. Yeah, this is how Google does everything. You have ideas, and then you are kind of putting your ideas out there, and if people believe in your idea or think this is good or they think they can contribute, they can attach themselves to it. It's super efficient, but you need a certain type of people that are entrepreneurial, that are curious, that are outlooking. Yeah? This doesn't necessarily work in every organization. Particularly if you never had that before. Yeah? If you have always allocated roles and tasks, then it's very unlikely if this appears that there will be one or two, that run with it, but don't expect too much there. This is a gradual process if you want that. Yeah? Now the case of the entrepreneurship that I had here, I'm over time. Okay, maybe we do need the seminar.
I can't make the seminar. Sorry. It's my dad's birthday.
Oh no! Okay, well, revise it at least afterwards. Yeah. The idea was really the case was how they manage it, but it comes to knowledge management, and as well my paper from Volvo and the innovation paper that I upload you, they basically talk about the same thing, and it's just broken down how they have done it. Yeah. But I haven't even made it. Competitive advantage and ownership was another one. So just copywriting ideas. Yeah? So reputation and branding. No, this is how you share. Wait, where's my copyright page? Here we go. So those are the common ones. We have now as well copyrights for internet content or ideas. You can do that too. So you recognize it that it was your idea and it has to be quoted. That is an R in the corner. Yeah? So there are different forms for this. If you're doing something, or if you write your blog, or you share your concept, design, something like that, look into this. This is very powerful, and you may want it to share. Yeah, like Edison. It was a good idea that he shared with us electricity and the light bulb. Yeah, we would have been in a lot of trouble, like paying for all that. Yeah, and dealing with the copyright. Yeah? Actually, this has been beautifully pictured by Family Guy. If you want to see that, Edison. Yeah? Family Guy. Very funny. Yeah. Okay.
So you do watch television?
It's not television. I have to admit that I was eluded from my cousins to this, and this is quite some time ago. This was like 2007, right, or 2008?
I don't know. I don't watch it.
Okay. This is some time ago. I know it's The Simpsons. I'm not completely. Sorry, this was like bad. I shouldn't have filmed that, but okay. Yeah. Okay, have a look at it. This is where something about the implementation. Finance is a big one in this, and business plan. I've kind of like sketched that out. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you have it all. In the slides as well, have a look. This is a Freitag case, and this is a video. So this is pretty cool. They talk actually about case studies where they've done it. Pick your case study. I picked Freitag because it was a Swiss bag country, Swiss bag making company that kind of looked at their local resources and did it from scratch. So they had nothing, and they just used products that were kind of waste product and made it in a very desirable bag. Yeah. Well. Yeah, here you can have a look at it. I have as well the CSC example there, but yeah, check it out. Yeah. So is nobody coming then to the seminar? So you two are not coming.
No.
Are you two coming? I can give Moses the seminar. It's actually fun. It's or you can revise it by yourself. It's up to you.
Revise it by yourself if it's alright.
Yeah. Okay, then I let Moses know. Okay.
He gets an early finish.
I think he is just coming in for that, so it's okay. I don't think he's at the university. So.
Well, that's even nicer. He doesn't have to come in.
Oh well. Yeah.